Hey guys, coming back at you again. Uh, if you're wondering why everything looks the exact same, it's because I'm recording this right after the last video, my VR to chest piping, um, which means I'm still smoking my Hardcastle Zulu with some X1X blend in it. So that is, if anybody's not familiar, it's a mix made by Jonathan at Piper X1X. It's a mix of half Aaronmore and half Gawith and Hogarth cherry vanilla. One more other big thing that I want to talk about today that I did not talk about in the previous video because I was completely unrelated to either of the two things I talked about in that video. I've been watching a couple other booktube channels and just other channels in general. My initial move into or interest in watching YouTube and YouTube communities was initially with booktube. So obviously this channel is, I guess, started mostly pipe centered. It's still kind of pipe centered. It's moving more towards a little bit more in the booktube realm of things that I'm reading and whatnot. I don't really see, I'm actually kind of more surprised that there doesn't seem to be a big tie over between those two communities, booktube and the YTPC. It seems to me a lot of people that would spend the time to sit down and smoke a pipe also probably tend to sit down and read books quite frequently, but I don't see much overlap between the two. But another grouping of channels that I subscribe to are theology channels. I spent a lot of time researching religion, and I don't know if it was I don't really know what happened. I grew up raised Jewish, and as you can tell by my arms, I'm haven't done so well with that. But different point entirely. I don't know if it's just because I tend to look at it more of as intellectually as opposed to, I don't know. I guess I'm not part of a religious community, and maybe that has something to do with it. I do like to read the Bible, and there are periods of time where I really do get into religion. Best way I guess to say it is I want to be able to believe, and I think what ends up happening is I end up getting wrapped up too much in one sect or denomination, and instead of looking at it as a whole. So as like all of Judaism or all of Christianity or all of Islam, I tend to look at it by different groupings, and I find the flaws with their individual practices, and then I don't know, I move on to something else. That's not what I want. I want to be more religious, more faithful. Like, religion isn't the right word. I really don't like the divisiveness of religions that everyone thinks they know everything and they're the right way and everyone else is wrong, and that's a whole nother discussion. The thing I wanted to sort of briefly mention today is one thing I really don't understand, especially in some of the more religious communities, is they become so what's the best way to describe this? They become so focused on their individual religious communities, their individual religious practices. And I understand the relationship between a person and God are very important. The thing that always has me wondering is why religious people tend to not focus on everything else. Not to the point of worshiping nature and all that kind of stuff. I guess what I'm trying to say is I've noticed that a lot of religious communities aren't capable, or very religious people don't seem to be very capable of appreciating this. Appreciating, coming from the understanding that God created everything. You know, everything in this world, the cycles of nature, all the animals, us, all of it. People just don't seem to appreciate it, and I don't understand why. Appreciating how amazing it is, in the Northeast of the United States, obviously, that's where I live, and just to appreciate how amazing this background is, how awesome it is, if a deer walks up the hill, and to appreciate all these things that were created. And on the flip side of that, we have a lot of the sort of environmental folks, and that's the sort of more the realm that I've come from, who look at sort of Mother Nature as the end all be all, and we're here as a freak accident of evolution, that this planet just happens to be the perfect distance from the sun, and it's the only one that can sustain life, and that's why we're here, and it's all just a bunch of happy coincidences. I can't appreciate what religion can do for somebody. Being so adamantly opposed to religion that you've essentially turned nature into religion. You've turned evolution, turned science into religion. I don't know. Maybe I just haven't found the right grouping, maybe the right community. I just don't understand why those two things have to be so mutually exclusive. What's wrong with the idea that things were placed on this planet created by God, and that the idea of evolution can't have also happened? Why would things have to stay the same from how they were created and put on this earth? Why couldn't they change? I don't know. It's just one of those topics that's always really bothered me. And it's something I think about very frequently, very regularly. But, to look at this background and not be able to appreciate the changing colors, the falling of the leaves. I mean, I'm blessed to live in an area that has 4 seasons. I mean, how amazing is that? We're in the fall now, and we've got all this beauty of leaves changing colors. We've got cold, crisp mornings, comfortable days. We'll move into the winter. I like the cold, and that's a fantastic thing. But after a while, you're tired of bundling up. You're tired of going out and shoveling snow, and then you move into springtime. It starts to warm up. The leaves come back on the trees, and you couldn't be happier. And then we start getting tired of that. Summer comes about, and you can start growing a garden and provide in that way, and the warmer temperatures, and you get tired of the heat, and you're back in fall again. It's pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome. It's just something I think about quite frequently. I'd be interested to know if any of you guys think about that, or if I'm just weird, wasting my time thinking about those kinds of things. I just don't understand why why is there this big discrepancy, this battle between faith and science? Why would you want to be locked up inside? When this is out here. Now, don't get me wrong. It'd be great to have a nice, quiet indoor place, like I mentioned in my bucket list. But to not be able to come out and appreciate this. And again, this is probably seeming semi-ironic since that last video I just mentioned that I'm not a huge fan of traveling. But I think we're all creatures of contradiction. I think we all tend to see the grass as being greener on the other side. If we don't have it, it's got to be better than what we have. I guess in some ways that's kind of what leads to a lot of the problems that we face as a world today. Want more than we have, want more than we need. And there's nothing wrong. I don't see any problem with wanting to do better, to have a little bit more, especially if it's for the sake of, you're setting your family up for future success. I want to be able to provide for my son. I want him to be able to live a good life and not have to worry about paying the grocery bill, paying rent, all those things that really keep us from appreciating life. Because ultimately, this is what it's about. It's about enjoying our time here on this planet. Yeah. A lot of us spend too much time working. Neglecting the simple, easy things of life, the good things in life. And then we get older. I know a lot of times we get older and find faith And then that becomes our life for the second half. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it makes me weird thinking about these kind of things, but long story short, make sure you take some time to appreciate the simple things in life. I'm saying this as much of a reminder to myself as to anybody else that watches this. I have a real hard time doing that, sitting around not doing anything, appreciating the simple things. And I try to remind myself frequently as possible to do that. I hope this video does something for you guys who watch it. I'd be interested to know your thoughts on any of what I've talked about. This has kind of been a 17-minute ramble at this point, but welcome to the inside of my brain. It hurts very frequently. Anyways, I think that's enough rambling. Thank you guys for watching this, if you stuck through the whole thing. And again, interested to know your thoughts. Feel free to leave them down in the comments. And I'll leave you guys to it. Thanks and have a good one.